Good day to everybody. Thanks for taking a look at the website. Name's Paul. I'm the creator of the Trail of the Green Man. I'm just going to make a little introductory video to help explain what you're going to see here on the website. I suppose the best place to start would be maybe about 12 years ago when I first got involved with this, how can you put it? I don't want to say conspiracy, although I think it is. It was basically through investigation of a documentary that I'd seen about Oak Island, and searching online I couldn't find any good answers to the questions that was going through my head. And I had a good look online and I came across Daniel Ronstam, and a researcher. He had some theories in regarding this, and he basically told me there to take a look at a certain Daniel Mogling to find my own answers, basically. And that's what we did, or that's what I did. And from that date, I've not really been able to put it down. And what was suggested was that this green man motif, which was present in the Fama, or the Fame and the Confession of the Rosy Cross, was showing up in various publications that would hold some type of link to the mystery. And we decided to throw a lot of effort behind this to see if we could find more of these examples to help paint a bigger picture. So we created a Facebook group, and the Facebook group was successful, although it wasn't really a group activity. We tried to form it that way, though there was only a couple of people that really put the time and effort in, and I thank them very much for that, because we never stopped. We kept searching, we kept hunting, and we managed to compile a massive collection which helped us to piece together something that we just couldn't explain, even though we had all this information. So when everything was compiled into a spreadsheet, certain anomalies started to appear that could only be described by manipulation, and they led us to certain documents. And it wasn't very long before I realised that some of these documents had telltale signs of codes, if you will, or ciphers being deposited in the publication, in the writing itself. And I branched off from the Green Man while always finding more, adding to the collection. I started to work on ciphers and cryptology and steganography, and I was reading a lot of the books in regards to this, especially the ones that would have a green man in it. And it really dawned on me that this wasn't going to cut it. That the information in these books, there was not a code in those days, back in the 1600s, or even now we're finding the 1500s, that went unbroken. Because the methods were there. The methods were, I'm not going to say simple because they weren't, but it was always a code that could be broken. So in my mind, I kind of agreed right there and then that a novel method, a new method, had been created. And that's when I started trying to figure out what this is. And for many years, through many failures, I just kept forging ahead. Although in those failures I would find something that would really fill my heart with hope. And it took a little bit of time, but before long I realised that when I compiled all these little bits together over this decade, I managed to see a pattern. And that's when I decided to have confidence in this pattern, and I just forged ahead. And that's when I began to realise that indeed we had done it. We had managed to break this code that had lay dormant for all these years, hundreds and hundreds of years. And that's what kept spurring me on over the last 10, 12 years, just finding these little pieces of information. But what became something occurred to me, that every time I would ask a question of somebody online or another researcher, all I got, apart from one really, but all I got was a link to their book. buy this book, or I have this book, or that question I answer in this book. And I just thought that this was not how it was going to be. There was no way, with all these private groups or circles, that is keeping all this information. And even just by the very nature of these things, they're kept quiet. So I decided that the book that was written, I managed to put all this into a book, and I got an author to come along and help me get it down better. But that wasn't what I was wanting deep down, because straight away I needed help. We need help to get to the bottom of this. It was just too big. We were dealing with multiple Rosy Cross members' life's work, and then there was just me. And it just dawned on me after 12 years that it was just going to be impossible. So going via a book route, it didn't seem like something I wanted to do, because there I would be criticising authors and work held behind paywalls, and here I was writing this book. So what I've managed to do is take all this information and place it onto a website, and this website is free for everybody. All the information on the website, although it may not be up there straight away, everything that I have found will be published to this website. Everything. While we are still working on it, I've opened a Discord group where I hope we can find people who are like-minded, who would like to just get to the bottom of this. Perhaps you have one small piece of information that might just help get us to the end of a specific publication. Perhaps you understand the Greek, the Latin, or you're just great at puzzles. I would love you to come along and help. Your help is needed, no doubt about it. It's too much for just me, myself. We need you to come along and offer your time. It would be greatly appreciated. So you will find the links to the Trail of the Green Man Discord. Again, this will be free as well. There is no paywall involved whatsoever. Come along, take my ideas, work on the ideas, perhaps bring them back, share your answers, and I will do live streams maybe once a week, and we will discuss all these things. People can give feedback, criticisms, whatever you want. The only way we're going to get to the bottom of this is together. That became apparent, and I really hope that you take this as sincere as it is. Come along, lend us your time, and see if we can't get to the bottom of this. But that being said, I realise that there are people out there who, like me, work 10, 12 hours a day, and they just don't have the time, but would love to get involved. So this is where we come to the begging part. This is terribly expensive. Over the last decade, the money that I've financed this has been terribly expensive. I recently received a donation from a great friend who's been with me from the start, and this has really pushed it forward, allowing me to gain access to additional copies of publications that were not available online. Everything costs some type of cost. Everything. So perhaps you want to come along, offer your time. If you can't, drop a donation at the website. It will go a long way. It really will. The costs of this over the lifetime of the 12 years is just being staggering. And we have so many libraries we need to visit. We have so many copies of publications we need to get. And hopefully, if you feel generous enough, again, there's no paywall, but feel free to make a donation to the Trail of the Green Man. It will help me put the time that's needed and the extra resources into pushing this. And I'm not going to say the finish line, because we are just getting over the start line. Come along and join us. I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.